Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to the Compendium of Discomfort, and finally I do as I promised. It's rare enough that I announce something and actually do what I'm planning to do. So here we are, actually talking more about ninja stuff, or more specifically Kunoichi, female ninjas, because why not? There's a very, very lovely German podcast that's called Männer, die auf Videos starren. So basically, men who stare at videos, who just did an episode about this topic, and they were like, can you help us researching the movies and stuff? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then I got sucked into this rabbit hole, having to watch a lot of movies. So we will talk about many movies in a very short time, because I would say they're all quite similar and mostly not that good. So it's more interesting to maybe compare them. And now the thing is, most of the movies that I watched are like direct to video, more the trashy kind. So yeah, if you're here for high class entertainment, maybe you skip this video, because we will talk about some very strange stuff that never saw a cinema from the inside. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about trashy female ninja movies, and 12 to be precise. We will talk about the first 4 Ninja Vixens movie, and the first 4 female ninja magic movies, or female ninjas magic chronicles, and we will talk about 4 other movies that are not related to this series. And that's what we're gonna do today. In general, ninjas or female ninjas, I think there are no real official documents about female ninjas, and even the ninja itself is more of a pop cultural construct, especially the way they look, like with the that didn't really exist. Of course, there was espionage going on, and as far as I remember, it wasn't even that common that like a samurai would be a ninja, because he would go on some kind of information gathering mission. So, but yeah, then they would just make sure people don't understand who they are, so they will try to be invisible in the way, like, just look like everyone else, don't stand out, adapt to your environment, and more Mission Impossible than ninja. Yeah, so that's the thing. When it comes to the time setting, I think most of these movies, if they specify a time, are set in the Edo period. Basically, that was when the shogun had the power, not the emperor, and it was a relatively peaceful time. So it followed the Sengoku period, which is like, the Warring States period, where everybody was fighting, and then the country got reunited. Officially, usually people say the big 3 unifiers are Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. And basically we will spend here our time in the Tokugawa shogunate. So mostly like from about 1603 to about 1868. And if there are some notable historical figures in the movies, I will mention them, so we can check where in this time span we are. But usually it's always like this roughly 260 years that these movies. I said, not that it's actually important, but especially at the end when, basically Japan opened again. It was basically completely shut from the outside. Outside influence wasn't very welcome. We will get to that later when we talk about Christianity. And then the country got opened, and I think the power went back to the emperor, and stuff happened that wasn't so pleasant. But it was a relatively peaceful time. No internal big conflicts like before. But seemingly the mystery says there were many ninjas working there, spying on each other. And I would say we will just start with one Ninja Vixen movie and then go over to maybe the female ninja magic Chronicles, and then one of the other movies, so we get some variation. So the first Ninja Vixen movie is called Forbidden Paradise from 1999. The Japanese title is Kunoichi Nimpo Den. Nimpo Den. So Nimpo is like a ninjutsu technique, like a special ninja technique. And that's funny because the female ninjas magic chronicles are Kunoichi Nimpo Jo or Cho. Is it? So basically they tried, that's a very similar title. Let's try to sell some stuff here. And if you look at the cover poster, it promises something that the other series actually delivers on, and that's what usually people who go to video rental shops and rent a DVD that's direct to video film, usually people are looking for two things, and that's nudity and violence, because that sells. And so these are two aspects that I actually took some notes about, like how sexy is it, how is the action, and how weird or serious is the movie, because that's something I think is actually relevant, because in the Letterboxd reviews many people are like, oh my god, there's so much crazy stuff going on. And that's another thing I wrote down. I took some notes on the crazy ninja skills, because at least some of the movies have them, some don't. And then some I took some notes about the general look. Does the movie look good, and is it actually good? So these are my criteria for these movies. And so I watched the Ninja Vixens movie actually at the end, basically more or less were pretty much the last of these 12 movies that I watched, and I expected, so looking at the cover, pretty much the same as Female Ninja Magic Chronicles, and it's much weirder in a sense that it's the series so far. I think there are 10 movies about the Ninja Vixens, and is it even pronounced Vixens? Or is it Vixens? I don't know. Vixens. So I expected something similar, like looking at the title, looking at the poster, I thought there's some like horny, violent stuff going on, and it will be quite exciting, at least. Maybe stupid, maybe bad, but at least exciting. But the thing is, the series is completely incoherent. It doesn't deliver on anything it promises. It's really weird, and this first movie is already so strange. By the way, I will not talk about the cast and crew as long as there's not someone actually like sticking out, but very often you just have people who were in these movies and nothing else, or who directed maybe 2 of these movies, or maybe did some other direct-to-video films, but there's nothing to gain here if we talk about those people. So there's one exception where actually some notable people worked on it, but then I will 2 maybe 2 I think 3 maybe 3 anyway, some movies where I will talk a little bit about cast and crew, but especially for these 2 big series I will not do that. So Ninja Vixen's Forbidden Paradise is a super strange movie because it basically has little to no action. Like the last few minutes there's some alibi action just to have some fighting for the ninjas, but it's not very good, and it's just there at the end. It's set at the end of the Edo era. We have one relatively famous samurai appearing. That's Sakamoto Ryoma, who was an opponent of the shogunate, and he is a friend of our protagonist. And here our protagonist gets hurt in his mission, and some Kunoichi take him home and take care of him. One falls in love with him. One is very strange because she's a foreigner with a super weird pink wig, and sometimes she speaks English, because why not? That's what foreigners do, having crazy pink hair and speaking English. It's funny, she's not even on the on the cover. There's a picture of 3 ladies, but none of them has that pink wig. Why? What's going on? Anyway, so they take care of this samurai, and the movie tries to compensate the lack of action with a lot of nudity. And in the end, it turns out to be a hippie movie where they just want to overcome society's standards. We don't think about what gender we are or what class or whatever, and a new world will come for them, and everything will be great. And then they just go full love and peace, and works out more well. And it's a super strange movie because, like I said, it just uses nudity to have something to appeal to the main audience, has almost no action, and then comes with this very nice message like, hey, love and peace and all. It's I don't know, it's strange in a not very entertaining way, but I have to appreciate the very honest message and the approach of, let's just show some breasts so we can do our political statement. So the movie itself looks okay. Sets are very limited. Costumes are fine, except for this excessively crazy wig. Has this video early 2000s, late 90s aesthetic, which is kind of nice. I like it. Overall, not a very entertaining movie, but I can't really be angry at it because it has some ambition, and I think that goes with most of the Ninja Vixens movies. It's they have some ambitions. They try something in their very limited frame that they have. And this one fails less badly than others. Let's say it like that. But there are no special skills. There's just love and peace, and it's way too serious, and it's like I said, not really that good and that entertaining. But they tried, and that's all I can say about that. So maybe let's take a look at Female Ninja Magic Chronicles. Here we have two mentioned rulers. We have Toyotomi Hideyoshi and Tokugawa Ieyasu, who have some fighting going on, and basically there's the thing that the ninjas have to protect their master's unborn child. So one woman is pregnant and they have to protect it. I think it's Tokugawa's baby. Probably. I forgot. Too weird. Anyway, this is actually based on a book by a man who's a Futaro Yamada, and he more or less started this whole idea of Kunoichi. And have I mentioned the funny way how this name works? Because of course it's a much more modern word than there might have actually been, some of them. But if you take the kanji for woman and break it apart, you have a hiragana ku, you have a katakana no, and you have a kanji ichi. So you have ku no ichi, and it's a funny wordplay, I guess. People believe that's the real origin of the word, but I think that's a pop cultural thing. Same as the clothes. I haven't really talked about the clothes. A typical Kunoichi wear is like this hot pants, basically. This top with no sleeves and closed here, and a bandana. Of course, that's what they look like, so they don't stand out. And of course, in the best case, some nice colors like red or blue or something. Complete BS like all ninja costumes. But yeah, that's the typical stuff they wear, so it's very funny. This movie basically started this very, very long franchise. There has been one earlier adaptation of that book. That was from 1964. So relatively short time after the book. I think the book was in 61, something like that. So relatively short time later. And there have been several movies and sequels. I see here 8 movies. And I've got a TV show that I haven't watched yet. So quite a lot of stuff they made. Maybe noteworthy, the later movies were by Hitoshi Ozawa, like one of the kings of direct-to-video Yakuza movies. He plays in them as well. But here the earlier ones are not yet. But it's a pretty big franchise, this book series. I think it's not only about Kunoichi, but all kinds of ninja stuff. It's a pretty long series of historic novels. Seemed to be a nice basis for these movies, even though these movies pretty soon go in completely different directions. I'm not sure how many of them actually are based on the books, but there's some stories that are very obviously taken from other sources. So Yeah. And the original first movie adaptation has a sequel as well. I haven't been able to find that yet. The other one I found, but I haven't watched it yet. Seemingly it's a much better made movie. I guess it's not as over the top as this one, because this series, like this one, starts crazy and it just becomes crazier and crazier, and that's good. And I guess the older adaptation is probably the much better movie, but less crazy, I would guess. But maybe you know. If you don't know, I will maybe tell you next time we talk about Kunoichi, because I'm not done with that. I have at least to watch the TV show and some other movies. We'll get back to that someday. Like I always announce, someday. Anyway, so this movie is pretty cool. I was very entertained by it. It was one of the first that I watched while diving into this topic. And it's very, very horny. Like most of the magic stuff is somehow sex-based. The action is totally fine for that kind of movie, like this direct-to-video historical sword fight movie. It's fine. It's not bad at all. Good. The main story is super dramatic and super serious, and that's something that goes through these movies. They're super crazy and super weird, but the stories are always very, very serious. And some people complained, this, like especially the second movie, isn't wacky enough. It's way too serious and blah, blah, blah. But they're always, at their core, very, very serious movies, very dramatic stories. Just because some very weird stuff happens, it doesn't mean that the story isn't serious. And yeah, the overall look, you have some nice little bit crappy effects, you have some nice sets, some good shots, but the series will get much better later. So it's just the start. It will look better later, it will taste better later, it will be crazier later, and it will be more serious later. So this is just the start, where they set the foundation here. When we have the magic spells, they still don't announce them like later, like in a fighting game or an anime or whatever. They announce their special secret tactics, which is pretty stupid, I guess, because if someone knows the name, maybe they know what to do. But here we have funky stuff like, of course, there's always a lot of magic to make other people horny. That's very essential. Here's some magic that makes you have stuff in your face, just like a mark on your forehead, so everyone knows you're actually evil. We have some sperm that makes women want to make love with the owner. We have a lock magic that will appear sometimes, and here it's a little bit special because of course they make love and the lock locks and he can't get out, and here he will get sucked dry, all his blood exits his body. It's pretty funny. One guy can hear whether or not a woman is pregnant, and then he can wrap some magical light, like blah, 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 yeah, and to control the woman and make some funky stuff. They can magically transfer the baby from one female to another. They just connect, lock on downstairs and do some magic, and it just goes over. It's completely crazy. And we have some acid spray that only removes clothes. Woman shoots bubbles from her genitals that encapsulates the man and turns them into mental babies, basically brings him back into the room. Yeah, so it's pretty over the top, it's pretty silly, but like I said, in its core, it's a very serious movie. So yeah, good start for that series. So I would say if you watch that and you feel, okay, that's kind of interesting, you can watch more, because I think for most part it's getting better with that series. And I think that's a wonderful start if you're into this kind of stuff. And let's get to one movie that's let's say a little bit different. It's called Amazon's Dragon Woman vs. Kunoichi, and I watched that because they asked me, hey, do you have any recommendations? Here's this one I found only without any subtitles. There's no English language version, so I watched it and did a little review for their podcast. But it's a really weird one, because here the director is Kenji Tanigaki. You might remember he just got a big award for his Twilight of the Warriors choreography. Pretty big thing. And then you take a look at the lead actress, is Soda Aoi, ex-adult video actress. What's going on here? Then the whole thing is set in China. What? And it's basically more homage to Jackie Chan than actually a ninja movie, because the ninjas, especially the female ninjas, just show up in like 2 scenes where, according to the title, the main villains, but there's one scene where they announce themselves by, I think, like a throwing knife or something. They throw something and that has their mark on it. And then there's one big attack at night where they surprise the protagonist lady while she's peeing, and then they make her take her clothes off. So that's already the sexiest scene in the movie. There's not much else going on except some male horniness. It's not that on that end of the spectrum here. It's more action focused, so that's basically very good. So she gets a little tortured here, in the sense of, here, crawl like a dog while being naked. We will spare your life, but you should be ashamed, or something like that. And later the Kunoichi show up in the climax, in the final fight, and they just fight a little bit and disappear, and there's not even a big showdown with them, because then we have a stronger enemy established. It's so weird. In between we get some direct quotes from Jackie Chan movies. I am not sure if it's only the snake in the eagle's shadow, I think that's the title, or a second movie, because there are 2 scenes that I definitely know from Jackie Chan movies. One I know is this one, the other one I'm not sure. Probably it's the same, but maybe you know. One scene is the protagonist wakes up in the hut, and on the wall there's some writing with explanations how to train, and outside you have like footsteps, and then she tries this choreography basically. And I think that's the same as in that Jackie Chan movie, when his master disappears and he trains by himself to get some more of the teacher's basic teaching. And then there's one more scene. I'm pretty sure it's the same actor, so I'm optimistic it's the same movie, where in the Jackie Chan movie Jackie and his master get some tea and it's kind of poisoned or something, but they pretend to be dying, but before that they switched it to colder tea because the master doesn't like hot tea, if I remember correctly. And here we have basically the same. So yeah, Tanigaki worked a lot in Hong Kong and he obviously loves Hong Kong cinema, so he tried more like a Hong Kong movie made in Japan with Japanese actors and actresses and some ninjas. And yeah, the basic story is our protagonist goes to a kung fu fighter and tells him, hey, we need your help. I know these ladies and the father needs to go to the doctor, and we want you to be the bodyguard. And then he does that. There's some action on the way. There's that training sequence and stuff. And in the end, bad guy shows up, a big fight, movie is over. Weird. Like even in the beginning, we have this very Hong Kong typical, you have like, I think a red background and then the actors perform some choreography. I think there's even one moment where you can see that the background ends in the corner. So it's a super, super cheap movie. It's not very good, but pretty entertaining, I would say. It's very silly, very stupid. The action is for that kind of budget mostly good, I think. But yeah, you see that the ladies are not trained fighters, so they do the motions, but it doesn't really look like fighting. It looks like people moving their arms. Yeah, it's not a punch. It's more like woo, woo, woo. Yeah, so it doesn't really look like authentic and stuff. But it's okay. It works. It's fine. It's fine. It's the funniest thing about the whole movie is that the whole movie feels like a bad dub of a Hong Kong movie. Like the words and the mouth movements don't really match. But when the ninjas come, they probably speak matching. Yeah, so I guess that's how you distinguish Japanese characters from Chinese characters with the dub. Yeah, it's a silly little movie. I mostly watched it for Kenji Tanigaki. It's not really great, but kind of entertaining. So not the worst movie on this list. So by far not the worst movie on this list. Yeah, then speaking of not the worst, let's go back to the Ninja Vixen. This time it's Crimson Blades and Vixen 2 is a weird one. We have no specific ruler or setting or something. But we have a story about a ninja called Shinobu, and she basically escaped, and then some old friend of hers shows up he's like hurt and needs her help, and in the end it turns out that she escaped because someone said that she killed the father of one of the main guys here, and she didn't do it, but yeah, she escaped to not be punished. And then it turns out this guy who went there was actually the one who killed him, but he got an order to kill him, and now big trouble, and people are following them, and there's some stuff going on, some backstabbing going on. And it's the big problem here is it looks better than the first one. They tried a little bit more with the sets, a little bit more decoration like skulls, and it's overall a bit more stylish than the first one. There's more and better action than the first one. There is less and, as a change, more uncomfortable sexuality in this one, because, for example, this guy shows up and drugs the protagonist because he's hurt and he needs to make love with her, and how else could he get that without drugging her? So that's very problematic, and that's one of the two big ninja skills that shows up here. The other one would be the typical explosion and disappearance, and there's not that much to say about this movie, because they obviously again had some ambition to make a more interesting ninja movie. Like, in the context of a ninja movie, this one is better than the first one, because the first one, why is it even ninjas? I don't know. Here, it's more focused on the main topic. We have more action, that's good. We have still the nudity, which is less pleasant, but still there. So basically, they check all the boxes that you need for this kind of movie. And it's just a little bit too good and too serious to be funny, entertaining trash. But it's a little bit too bad to actually be good. So, yeah, it's nothing really works as well as it should. And yeah, another case of maybe you've got to respect the ambition, and yeah, I don't know. Not amazing, not great. Okay. Yeah. Then we go to Female Ninjas Magic Chronicles 2, A Secret of the Christian Bells. And like the title says, we finally get the Christians. Yay! We have one historic figure, that's Matsudaira Nobutsuna, who is not very famous. He just sends out the people to get some bells, because there's seemingly a treasure that the Christians are hiding. I didn't watch that movie after the first one. I watched the third one first, because most people on Letterboxd complained it's not as good and way too serious. There's suddenly a very serious love story. And I thought that actually worked very well, because, like I said, these movies are all very serious while being completely gaga. And this one is a little bit less gaga. So maybe that's the disappointing part for those people, but the story actually works very well. So I actually thought this was better than the first one. And yeah, I don't understand that criticism. Now here basically we have at the beginning a prostitute who gets saved by a samurai because she doesn't want to have sex with one guy, and he gets angry about that. How does a prostitute dare to refuse him? And yeah, this noble dude comes to save her, and later he will get hurt and she will find him. So that's the very serious love story that we get here. His mission is actually to find some bells, 5 bells, and those are hidden inside the body of some Christian female ninjas. However, that makes any sense, but yeah, at that time Christianity wasn't actually welcome in Japan, and maybe you have seen Scorsese's Silence, which makes this its topic and is very interesting and very good. And there's something that you can see in Silence as well as here, where Christians are asked to step on a picture of Christ so they can show that they are no Christians, because they dare to step on him. And yeah, some refuse to do that and get caught, and that's how the first lady with the bell gets caught, and then somehow the gentleman who do that needs to tickle the bell out, and it's pretty nasty and rough. So, like the concept tells us already, it's a very, very, very horny movie. Yeah. So some guys are being sent out to get some bells out of the that region of some ladies, and they all have some magic to achieve that, and the ladies have some magic to fight that. So here very much the magic is very much focused on this topic, so everybody has very horny magic. Yeah, the action is not too special. It exists, it's there, it's fine. I would say the first one had better action probably, but yeah, it's not as weird as the first one. It just has one absolutely fantastic death scene. It's maybe the best acted death scene I've ever seen, because it's so stupid, so over the top, so silly, wonderful. It's great. And then there's one guy, that's something that always tickles me as a German, that symbol for Japanese temples looks a little bit like that symbol for, you remember German history? They had this, this kind of cross thingy, and it's a religious symbol in Japan, but it always like, and one guy has that on his umbrella, and he turns it, and Mary Poppins style, he flies away, and it's just a glorious scene, and the music that plays in that moment is just hilarious. It's wonderful. So this one has like two really, really, really insanely stupid scenes, but besides that, it's more of a serious movie, as serious as it can be, with this basic premise of we need to get bells out of. No? So yeah, I would say like visually it has little bit more of this special sets for the fights, but that will get better in the next one. So it's a little bit step up from the first one. I think it overall has the more beautiful locations, more beautiful sets. That's okay here, but it will get better. For funky skills, we have the cross, like some guy sees a cross on his eye, and later it will start to burn and just kill him. Not so exciting. We have echo magic, so basically transfers the injury from you to the enemy. We have some blow darts, and I mentioned the blow darts just because they hit the eyes of the enemy, and for that shot where they actually hit it, they just had a picture and shot the darts into the eyes, and it's wonderful. It's so good you don't even notice it the first time, but something's weird here. Let's skip back. What? Poster. This is great. Yeah, we have the serpent tongue, like the lady kisses and then the tongue does something, and I don't know. It's not so detailed, but you have this image of like the X-ray basically with some blood on here, so something in his throat. It's called serpent's tongue. Something in his throat is bloody, broken. You can imagine the rest. We have one nasty guy who plays the lute, and then because only Christians enjoy this kind of music, so he can basically find Christians with that, and one lady touches it and it turns out to be very sticky, so her hands get glued to the lute, and then he announces from behind that he will now check for the bell and do stuff with her. It's pretty nasty. We have the moon water bubble. So another bubble magic. This time the guy gets encapsulated and poisoned. We have the umbrellas. I mean, it's not as crazy as the other one, but it's surprisingly good. I was very positively surprised by this. So it was a very nice one. Okay, let's talk about Kunoichi Deadly Mirage. That's the movie that I watched yesterday to get to 12 movies to just be able to do this one. Yeah, and it looked so promising. It at least got some good reviews on Letterboxd, and this one even has some notable people working on it. I mean, the director, not so. He did a Kekko Kamen, which I have at least heard about. But we have, for example, Koji Endo as the composer, and he basically did most of the Takashi Miike soundtrack, so that's great. We have even two humans acting there who are quite famous. We have Michie Tomizawa, who is usually a voice actress, but she was, for example, Vampire Hunter D, Shinchan, Sailor Moon, Bubblegum Crisis, in a lot of stuff. And we have Hiroyuki Watanabe, who was, for example, in Ring, or Labyrinth of Cinema, or Gamera 1, 2, 3, like the or Heisei trilogy, in some other Obayashi movies. So pretty good, pretty famous. And the movie actually looks quite good first. I mean, it's still this late 70s. It's a 97 movie. It still has this late 70s video aesthetic, but that's something I don't mind. But then it becomes soon weird. It never feels like the image is actually clear. It always looks a little bit soft, too soft. And I think that's like one shot where you have 3 women standing and one kneeling in front. And this one you see from the back, but I think the focus is on the back of her head, not on the 3 ladies standing there. So it's somehow suddenly very badly made, very messy. Maybe they just didn't have the resources to do any reshots or something. I don't know, or any more takes. I have no idea. It's has some good effects at the end. I mean, good for that kind of movie, interesting effects, because there's some kind of zombie, skeleton, samurai monster that comes. The basic story is that the ninjas need to get a secret letter about the Shinsengumi, you know, the fresh group. No, not the fresh group, but same pronunciation. And the story is not so bad, but it takes like half the movie. Basically, all these movies are like 70 to 80 minutes long, so very short. And this one feels really boring for long parts, until this zombie-esque dude shows up. It takes like 30-40 minutes, and then when we get the big final battle, it's more of an esoteric one than actually fighting. And on the so action starts better than it ends. There's not too much of the nudity, which is not so bad. It's here too more in a violent, rapey manner, so that's not so bad that we don't have too much. I mean, it makes sense in the context of the story, like one of the ninjas gets caught, and then of course she gets tortured and people do nasty stuff with her, and yeah, it makes sense in the context of the story, but it's not the most fun thing to watch, so I don't mind that being not that much, but yeah, it's just dull. Maybe I watched it on the wrong day or in the wrong mindset. Maybe it was just more like I want to watch one more, but I don't know, it feels like a lot of wasted potential. Like the whole sets and costumes. The fights are totally okay, I think. This idea with the skeleton zombie samurai is fine, and like I said, the effects seem fine. Just kind of boring. There starts good and then yeah, maybe just my expectation to actually get some action, and then they did it more like the atmosphere and stuff, and I didn't come for atmosphere. I don't know. Maybe this is someday worth a second try, but I wasn't too happy about it, so yeah. But it gets worse, because now we get to the Vixens Dropout, which is by far the worst movie we're talking about today. It's nothing like the first two. It is actually a comedy. It's basically a ninja academy. You have like different classes, and this is the lowest class, the worst scum of the wannabe ninjas. So you have one who's too old, you have one who's always horny, you have one who thinks too much, you have one who's quite big, all these like stereotypes. Yeah, just one got actually demoted from a higher class down there because secret. Yeah. And in the end, some nasty guys show up to kill them, and they fight them. And these last few minutes of fighting are actually the best thing about this movie. So there's no historical connection here. It looks okayish. I think the second one was a little bit more stylish, but here, because it's comedy, it's okay. It's fine. The few effects that they have look kind of funny, not good, but charming enough. For example, there's a flowers ablaze, it's called, where one of them just shoots flowers and stuff. Doesn't look good, but fun enough. But yeah, we don't get many great tricks. The funniest one is basically when the bad guys come to a kind of bar or restaurant or something where the girls made everyone pass out, and they just turn one guy's head around, and then he projects his memories onto the wall, which is one of the more amusing scenes. But overall, yeah, there's some jokes that are not terrible. Or did I mention that, of course, the leader of this group, the trainer, is a woman who's played by a man. So they can, oh my god, she's so ugly. And when she at some point has sex with a guy, he is so traumatized by this monstrosity. It's just like the jokes are bad. The action, when it comes, it's okay, but it comes too late. The idea is just dull and boring and bad humor. And I thought this overall idea with this like academy style and the students who of course just try to tease and annoy their teacher. It's nothing new, but it's good enough. The characters, as bad and stereotypical as they are, I think it had enough potential for at least a okayish comedy, but just so bad and boring, and there's nothing to get from this. Don't watch this if you ever watch this series. Is by far, so far, the worst. I still have some left. Not sure if I want that. Yeah. Let's get to Female Ninjas Magic Chronicles 3. Sacred Book of Sexual Positions. You see, this movie is by default probably the horniest of them all. And I would say it's probably the best, at least from this series. We have some like standalone movies that might be better, but yeah, I would say this is maybe the best in this whole 12 movie batch if you like this more erotic focused direct to video stuff, then this is good. We have Tokugawa Iesada as a historic character here, and he is kind of famous for not having any children. He adopted his cousin as his son, so he had someone who could take over the thing because he died quite young. And yeah, so because he is unable to make any babies, someone decides that maybe they need this sacred book of sexual positions to help him a little bit. And this book is somewhere, I think in Kyoto, someone has it. And they're like, oh my god, they can't steal our precious book of sexual positions. We must defend it with our lives. And they basically get some Kunoichi to do that. So we have some samurai guys who have some very sexual magic to do that. And we have the ladies who defend it. And the idea is like, how can we get this information even if we might not get the book, or it's more like a scroll? Yeah, you basically just practice it and yeah, no, you just do the thing. And so basically the idea is always like one ninja and one kunoichi meet. They somehow get per radio the advice how to do this position, and then they kill each other. It's so stupid and so ridiculous. Doesn't even make too much sense. I completely forgot who, why, and then we have one guy and one girl from each side who are in love with each other, and they try to get this done without people dying. I think that's how they get to this idea of let's just make them bang and then we can copy the information without actually stealing the book and stuff like that. It's super, super stupid, super silly. So yeah, the action is fine. It's not the main focus, but the presentation of the action is wonderful, because somehow every time they meet and like a video fighting game, they go into the battle stage and it looks amazing. They have some really, really nice sets suddenly and well lit, better lighting than any Marvel movie, I would say. And it's wonderful. They somehow then do their stuff, and there's a lot of wonderful, silly magic. Yeah. For example, we have the weeping hair. So hair grows and starts to choke the guy. We have female ninja silkworm. So from downstairs, she shoots silk to make a cocoon around the enemy. We have some doppelganger magic with umlaut, because without umlaut you can't have a doppelganger. We have some radio. It's called the echo transmission. We have the burning milk shower. You know what that means, like, and it's acid and people melt. It's wonderful. We have the crab bubble hell, which is a lot of bubbles that kill again. We have one great scene where we have, it's called the shadow cross sword. One guy holds two swords, and so his enemy can't move anymore, and this enemy is a guy, but he's on the side as a lady, so he's like, oh, yeah, you don't want me to kill him? Come over here and do love with me. And then he asks his advisor, who tells him how to do the position, like, what's the correct way to make love while standing like this? And it's a wonderful, such a good, stupid movie. Again, it was a very serious call. But, yeah, in the end, you get a glorious scene of the Iesada trying to make love while outside is a bald man telling him what to do, like, look up, turn your head left, put your hand here, put your finger in, stuff like that. It's hilarious. It's such a good movie. I had so much fun watching this. Just complete bananas, batshit crazy. Wonderful, I would say, so far, probably the best movie in this whole program. One is debatable later. But, yeah, let's get to the Kunoichi Ninja Girl. Yeah, this one has a little bit more famous cast and crew. The director is a guy called Seiji Chiba, who is relatively well known for low-budget movies, especially ninja movies and some other stuff. I think his most famous is Alien vs. Ninja. And, then actress, we have Rina Takeda, who was, for example, in the Attack on Titan movies, but in Reborn. And her most famous is, I guess, High Kick Girl. Recently she was in the pretty good Muromachi Budai. I think that had a different title in the US, but you will find it on Letterboxd. That's Muromachi Budai. Yeah, here we have noch Mitsuki Koga, who was, for example, in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift or Ping Pong. Yeah, so some good stuff. And we have Kentaro Shimazu, who was in World of Kanagawa, Tokyo Girl Police, the first, not the second and third Kenshin movie. Some other stuff, Golden Kamuy, Bad City. He's a face that shows up a lot. And of course we have Masanori Mimoto, most well known probably now for the first Baby Assassins and Ghost Killer, but he was the frog in Yakuza Apocalypse too. So yeah, good cast, you would guess. A lot of potential. Did I mention that Kensuke Sonomura did the fight choreography here? He was the action director. So basically a good foundation, even though it's a pretty low budget movie. It's from 2011, so it looks like a low budget direct to video movie from 2011, like basically cheap TV series. I can live with that, but yeah, basically it's about a group of ninjas who kidnap women to basically enjoy them, because in their village only, I think it's by the ninja rank, who is allowed to have sex, and then they want some meat to enjoy, basically. So pretty disgusting story, pretty disgusting setup. It's a very disgusting movie. Anyway, so some women get kidnapped, and one of them is Rina Takeda, and basically she then fights and kills a lot, and there's some twist, and there's something with a guy who has some weird STD, and they want to abuse that as a biological weapon and all this stuff. It's really disgusting, grim movie. There's no fun, no joy, nothing. The action is pretty good. It's still far from Sonomura best form, but of course it's fine. You have some nasty violence if you're into that. Cool. You don't have real ninja skills besides butt kicking, torture, and STDs. And it's a good, solid action, but overall it's just not a very pleasant movie. Like, the story is not very interesting, not very good. There's not that much nice stuff going on, so I would say a very forgettable film that I mostly watched for Sonomura, and yeah. Wasn't the worst, wasn't the best. It's just like even with 65 minutes, it felt a bit long and dragged a bit. And yeah, like I said, the story isn't interesting. It's just there, and no need for that. We have better stuff. But yeah, let's get to, I guess, Ninja Vixen 4. That's a Ninja Vixens, a Devilish Angels. Probably the best, maybe, Ninja Vixens movie. I don't know. The funny thing is, it's the same director as the third one, Mineko Takeuchi. And this one is at least much better than the third one. It still has some silly comedy in it, but it's a way more like action focused. It's basically the same from 1 to 2 and then 3 to 4. So suddenly they actually try to do what they're supposed to do, while the other one is more like a let's try something weird. One more or less succeeded, the other one not so much. And yeah, 2 and 4 are more like, oh, maybe we disappointed people, let's do something that's more in the line of what people want. So here we have a young, hungry, homeless girl on the run, and she sees how some scary guys kidnap a woman, and she follows them to help her. And it turns out she's actually a ninja and fights them, and all cool. And yeah, later some people come to take her life, and yeah, there's of course some backstory where she has a rival, and yeah, it starts more on the sexy side. We have a very stylish intro where we see some naked breasts with angel and Satan written. So let's see, Devilish Angels. And it's an okay story. We have this typical older, grumpy person who suddenly needs to take care of a helpless younger person, and somehow this odd couple finds to each other, and it's fine. It's a okay action. We have some nice stuff going on. It doesn't look too bad. We have some silly jokes, like there's one very, very entertaining, stupid scene where we have one ninja magic that's called a sexual puppet, where the woman kisses a guy. We get some very strange noise, sound effects, and then his mouth is glued, and suddenly his genital starts talking and wants to be punished more and stuff like that. That's pretty funny. Later we have something that's called a Tears of the Fallen Angel, and that's some kind of a funky people melting disco shower. Okay, cool. And yeah, it's a very serious story with some of the better silliness from the last one. So a big improvement. I still wouldn't really recommend it. I don't know. Not my favorite series here. I don't know how they made it to 10 movies. Somehow they must have made money with the probably little bit weird covers that maybe promise more than they actually deliver. I don't know. Yeah. Not so happy with the series, but probably I will keep watching it. It's some kind of weird interest in what can they do with it. Like, do they follow this pattern of one weird and one more conventional? And then I would be really interested in seeing what kind of weird ideas they otherwise had. So Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's getting better. But we have one more relatively interesting movie, and that's Female Ninjas Magic Chronicles 4. Rebel Forces at the Threshold, or another title would be, what was it? Chushinguda, something about Chushinguda. I forgot. Chushinguda 47 Ronin. You know, this story about some Ronin who want revenge for their lord who was forced to commit seppuku. And so the historical figures here are Asano Naganori, that's the guy who, no? And the other one is Kida Yoshinaka, who was the one who made him do that. And now it's very weird. So we have this group of Ronin who want revenge, and we have a group of ninjas who try to stop them from that. And then we have a group of female ninjas who, and I quote, use your sexual charms to cripple the man of Akko. So basically they should use their abilities. It's funny that abilities of female ninjas are always never like their fighting skills or whatever, even though they have them, but it's always in love making. Yeah. Some would say it's sexist crap. Fair enough. And so they are supposed to make them not want to take revenge anymore, to somehow otherwise regain their status. And it's very weird. Like, how can we put female ninjas into the story? And a lot of it's very weird, but it's not so bad that it's weird. It's fine. The thing is, now we always have this confrontation. We have a female ninja arriving at a place where one of these vendetta dudes is, and trying to stop him while someone tries to kill him. And in the end, many people die after having some romantic stuff. It's again a very not as serious as the other ones. The action, there is some good stuff, and is it a serious movie? Well, one of the female ninjas lays glowing eggs that make men want to make love to her. Yeah. Why not? But the guys in this movie are so serious, so overly serious, that they would rather stab their eyes or cut off their little willy, so they are not sexually distracted from their vendetta. So they're really, really hardcore, serious dudes, and that just makes it even sillier, the whole movie. It's just ridiculous, over the top BS fun. Very good. It's a little bit more excessive with the effects. For example, we have one wonderful magic here that's called the running flame, where one evil guy whips the lady ninja around her neck and then casts a flame that travels all the way to her until she explodes. She doesn't just burn, she explodes. Pretty nasty. We have another lock magic, but here they actually become one human. It's pretty funny. We have a body of steel that still can easily be penetrated by a sword. I guess it just means he's immortal, I guess. I don't know. We have a swamp of hell. It is what it is. We have some other stuff. That's pretty cool. Pretty fun. More effects, more CGI-ish stuff. What year is that movie? We're here in 1994, so maybe no CGI, but more fancy, glowy, stuff. I don't know how they did it, but looks okay, looks fun. it's entertaining, it's stupid. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. Not as good as the third one, but close enough. So I would say like the Female Ninjas Magic Chronicles 2, 3, 4. A good run. The first one was already good, but yeah, good, really good stuff, really silly. Crazy. I love it how they include the super famous story and just make it about banging and yeah, no. Cut your willy off to be able to vendetta. Why not? It's ridiculous. It's silly. It's so much fun. So yeah, wonderful. As I said, 3 better than 4 still, but 4 very good, very fun, very entertaining. We have one more movie to go, and that's the real recommendation for actually normal people who just want an entertaining movie, and that's easily accessible because it's officially on YouTube, and that's called Shogun's Ninja by Koichi Sakamoto. I've talked about Sakamoto quite some time here. We have a funny cast because the lead actresses are Himena Tsukimiya, who was in the very wonderful Ultraman Blazer, and she was in a movie called Red Blade and some other stuff. Yeah, but she's very fun. And we have Kanon Miyahara, who was, for example, in Black Fox or Ninja vs. Shark, but yeah, her biggest role so far was obviously in Kamen Rider Gotchard, where she showed off her impressive abs, which she regularly does. But yeah, she was in the Tatsujin Warriors as well, so she's a regular with Sakamoto. Yeah, and here the Shogun is Tokugawa Iemitsu, who I was told preferred the gentleman to the ladies, but he had an awful lot of concubines and yeah, some adopted daughters because he has some baby issues again. He likes the boys a little bit too much, and he's not that into the girls. So here some people try to get him some nice girls who he might make pregnant or want to make pregnant. So they basically kidnap a lady who has some connection to this two ninjas whose clan was completely destroyed, and now they are like, they just do whatever jobs they can get. And yeah, now their friend gets basically kidnapped, so they go to save her, and then they find out that the Shogun is actually more on the I don't want these ladies that they bring me, I want my friend here. And yeah, then they basically fight for his right to make love with the boys and not the girls, and that's a very honorable thing to do. And yeah, it's a very fun movie. There's one more girl that got kidnapped who has some mental issues, but every time she touches a katana, she becomes a master sword fighter. And yeah, I had some smaller issues with the movie, more on the like tonality, because it tries to be this buddy movie, quite fun and light-hearted, and then suddenly you have these very dark, sinister things. You have a very strange and yeah, there's some stuff that's a little bit I mean, with the ending, it feels like, yeah, it's probably how these things would have ended in those times. Not like we wish. Yeah. But, yeah, besides that, we get a Sakamoto action, and Sakamoto action is really, really good. And here you have some really nice fights. The movie itself doesn't look too special. It has typical direct-to-video look, a little bit too much teal and orange going on. I suffered a bit. Yeah, but the action is what makes this really good. And the story itself is fine. The cast is fine. There's nothing really bad going on. The lady with the mental trouble is maybe sometimes a bit too silly, too over the top, but it works. And yeah, if you don't want the more trashy, sexually focused movies, this is the one to go to, because all the love here is just between the boys, and it's mostly just butt kicking and fighting, and that's high quality fighting here. So wonderful stuff. And like I said, it's free on YouTube if you just check Shogun's Ninja. There's an older movie with the same title that's shouldn't be on YouTube because it's not made for YouTube, but this one was basically produced to be put on YouTube. I think it was it on TV in Japan? So there it had some other release schedule, but basically internationally it was always planned to be on YouTube, and with subtitles and everything. Works really fine, wonderful, good stuff, good cast, good director. This, yeah, like I said, this is probably the movie I can actually recommend to people without being ashamed. If you don't feel ashamed to watch some more trashy, weird stuff, definitely the Female Ninja Magic Chronicles 3. These are the best I have watched here so far. Like I said, I will probably someday get back to this topic if I ever feel like watching the TV show, which can't at least be that horny because it's a TV show. With this is a Becky. It doesn't have a family name. It's just Becky. I don't know. It was really cheap. Anyway, yeah, it's a fun topic to dive into, and I know there are some more high quality movies to watch. So I'm looking forward to that. I might be a little bit curious about the other Female Ninja Magic Chronicles and Ninja Vixens movie. Let's see how brave I am to watch those. But yeah, it's a good topic. It's good fun. And maybe I will get around to other ninjas someday as well. If you like this format that I basically stole from the Männer, die auf Videos starren, with just more stuff in shorter time, you can tell me, and maybe I will do more of that. Yeah. Here, the good point about this topic is obviously that the movies are all so short, like 70, 80 minutes. Yeah, you can just watch a lot in a relatively short time. It's mostly fun. Sometimes it's a bit suffering, but yeah. Anyway, that's enough for today. We need to finish, maybe, or I feel like I should drink something. Maybe I edited in between, but I didn't take any breaks. That was one long 90-minute stream of conscious, I guess, like I usually do. Yeah, so I'm tired. I want to drink. See you.